Hello, young voters. I'm Sarah. This is Nico, and this is the last installment of the Reform Revolution videos. We're doing like the wrap up, kind of the consensus of our thoughts, and if we pick reform or revolution. I guess before this video starts, maybe read all of the chapters.
Read the book.
Or like watch all of our videos, maybe, because like that's what we're going to be referencing the whole time, and it's not like we're reading the book this time. We're actually like putting our consensus.
Or if you haven't read the book and you're deciding whether to, this will be a good review. Might contain some spoilers.
Yep.
Right.
Let's get started. Well, should we start with Reform or Revolution? Like which one?
Let's talk about our thoughts on the book first.
Bad book. That's my notes. I just wrote bad book. It was boring and like not very helpful. Like I said this to Nico, like I went into this book and I exited the book and I'm the exact same person. Like nothing, head empty, nothing has changed. So yeah, that's great.
Yeah, I think in terms of the book, I didn't like their argumentation strategy too much. I didn't like Rosa's just whole layout of the book. Obviously she never thought it was going to be what it became, but it's just like it's hard to read and it's hard to remember, and she constantly is repeating stuff, which is like good because it's hard to remember, but then it's annoying as well. I feel like there should have been a list of bullet points at the end saying this is everything I said in in 3 pages. Yeah. And that should have been on there, but it wasn't, and you just sort of have to remember everything, or you remember nothing, which is like the most likely case. And also she had a lot of logical inconsistencies throughout the book and her criticisms of Bernstein. So I mean, I didn't appreciate that too much. And obviously I didn't agree with a lot of what she was saying, but that's not really a criticism of her work. Well, I mean, I guess it sort of is, but that's not a criticism of her writing style, I suppose. So overall, I'd say this book, if you're a socialist, if you don't know a whole lot about socialism, Marxism, if you don't know these concepts, you're going to struggle to read this. I struggled to read this. Not that I know a whole lot, but I know more than the average, and I don't know. It was difficult.
I don't think the struggle was more about like the content. It was just kind of like the writing style. Like,
well, you got to know like the references and the theories.
You can just Google that though.
Yeah, you can Google, or you can watch a fantastic
video series.
Video series covering the book.
Yeah.
Of us two idiots, but maybe not as fantastic then. But yeah, I think it's definitely something that you have to talk about with other people. It's not something that you could. I feel like everybody's gonna have a different interpretation of it, or you can just be really smart and figure it out the first time. But I did not. I was not able to do that. I guess. I think. Yeah, if it will be difficult if you're not familiar at all with a lot of Marxist theories, because she makes a lot of references and the arguments start to make a lot more sense when you know sort of the background, because she doesn't bring you like she'll bring you like she'll talk about Bernstein and she'll say this and this and this, but she won't really bring you to the end. Like she'll say Bernstein rejects materialism or Bernstein rejects the history of class struggle, and then you'll be like, oh, so what? This is great. Okay. But you got to understand you basically have to understand that Marx viewed the world through class struggle, and Marxists think, class struggle is the most important historical force. You got to know that going in. Otherwise you're going to be like, okay, great. He doesn't know about what class struggle is. Like, who cares? So the criticism sort of fall flat. And also this book, I guess this would be my question to you, Sarah. Do you think it's like dated? Do you think
Y-
it's
Yeah, I think so because like I mean, Rosa didn't write it for like future generations to read it. She wrote it just so like the people in her era would understand why they needed revolution and not reform.
Mhm.
So there's a lot of things that she leaves out. Like you said, like kind of like the like information about Marxism, just like because she like knew that the Socialist Party already knew that.
Mhm.
So yeah.
Yeah, she does. She also talks a lot about like the economics of the time, which can be hard to relate to. Um, but that's not a huge portion of the book. To me, what she was stating is that it's not able to very well be applied to modern life. Marx, his Communist Manifesto and Capital is usually still applicable, which is why it's held its water for so long. But this, I feel like, is hard to you have to do a lot of legwork to relate any portion of the book to modern life. It's even difficult to relate it to sort of more like the 1900s, or early 1900s, obviously. So it's difficult to really get a lot out of this. So yeah, if you're looking, if this is your first book into theory, I'd look somewhere else. If you're looking for Reform and Revolution, I again feel like the title is a little bit misleading. Where, when we'll talk about this a little bit later, but she doesn't really cover too much of advocacy for revolution. She's basically just refuting Bernstein, and Bernstein is kind of saying reform, but it's not really reform. It's like a weird version of reform that social democrats don't really argue for. So, and she even uses like social democrats as sources, disproving Bernstein in the book. So, I don't really know. I would find it difficult for this to be useful to anybody.
Yeah, I guess it's more just like read it for like fun, for like history.
Mhm.
Don't read it to actually learn political theory.
Yeah. Yeah. I would probably. I read another book and I'll be making a review on that, which I would recommend over this one. Um, but yeah, I'll put a link in the description to that review. But yeah, I think this book, I feel like I'd probably say don't read it, especially not as your first thing. That would be my final comment on the book itself.
Yeah,
Sarah?
I'd agree. Which this like I don't read a lot of political theory, so I guess that kind of sucks for me because
Mhm.
this was maybe like my sixth political theory book that I've read. So yay. Anyways. Um okay. Reform or revolution, Nico?
Reform.
Same. Yeah. We made a list of like our reasoning. So okay, for reform, you like can decide whenever to like start reforming, like when to start like electing people in office and all that stuff. But revolution, you need to wait for like the spark, for the trigger event to happen, because if you don't
Mhm.
have that, then like it won't like catch the wave. It'll just kind of die out. But then something that is bad with reform, but she kind of contradicted herself in it, Rosa did, was people are like very greedy. So like some reform will happen, but then they're gonna want more reform, and then it will just be like an endless cycle of people wanting reform. But then Rosa said that once you reform, people are happy, which would mean no revolution would happen. Oh no. But that doesn't make any sense because I don't know, just like in different chapters, she just like explained what would happen after like reform
Mhm.
in completely different ways. And it makes no sense to me. She did that so many times. She just would say the same thing, like, but opposite.
Yeah, she would change her argument just to dunk on Bernstein, which is like, I guess Ben Shapiro read Rosa before. Um,
Roasted. Okay. So then for revolution, we like our last note is that people would die. And then we came to like we were talking, we're like, do the ends justify the means?
mhm.
And we had different perspectives on it. So like I said like no. I was like, no, I don't think people dying justifies that. Nico, what was your response?
Well, I mean, I was saying it depends, like contextually. Um, yeah, like obviously, like no one dying, but the thing is about revolution. And these are more my general thoughts. I don't know if we want to focus on that for just like Rosa's thoughts or our thoughts in relation to Rosa, but my general thoughts would be that I would definitely be happy with a lot of reform. Like if we just got a handful of reform passed within my lifetime, I'd be elated. Um, yeah, so I don't think we necessarily need revolution that badly. Um, yeah, I would be entirely happy with a handful of reforms.
But also, I feel like that's kind of a question of like your privilege. Like maybe you don't see some things that other people see.
Oh yeah, of course.
So like, yeah, there's too many perspectives.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, yeah, it's heavily dependent on privilege. I mean, these reforms probably wouldn't affect me. In fact, I would guess some of them might hurt me. A lot of them, like climate, like if we solve like climate change, that would be awesome. And that's obviously like a huge task. So I guess we need to be, we need to be wary. Like we can't just say, okay, we need to solve climate change. We need to have class consciousness. Need to have unions everywhere. We need to have fantastic unemployment benefits and all of this, and we need to stop imperialism, and we need to do all this stuff, and then also we need to get rid of capitalism in its entirety and institute communism. And then you'll be like, okay, what's the deadline on this? And someone will be like, I don't know, like 50 years. Like, okay, that's not happening. So yeah.
And then the like last thing we have for the reform part is that you can't fully reform into socialism, which like you kind of just said, Nico, like with all the reform, we're never really gonna like get to socialism, but like, is it worth it? Like, is the reform good enough? Which like, I guess for now, yeah. Like Nico said, like if I die and there's a bunch of reform but no socialism, I think like I'll be content.
Yeah. Of natural causes, by the way. That's just not implying that she would die for
You don't know
like
what I
for
was,
the revolution.
you don't know what I was implying, Nico.
Okay. Well, were you implying that you would do a reform and then you'd start a revolution but die in the revolution?
I'm gonna let the audience interpret that the way
Ooh.
that they would like.
All
So
right. Audience, is Sarah a dirty commie or is she a lib? Which one? Choose.
vote in the comments below.
Yeah. Become the young voters and vote.
Jesus. Okay. um uh that is that it? Is that all we have?
Yeah, honestly, I think it speaks to how the book is just hard to interpret and apply, that we just had so little thoughts about. Like I'll say this. In going into the book, I was reformed 100%. Now I'm basically reformed 100%. Nothing really changed. Bernstein made some terrible points. Rosa made some terrible points. Rosa made a couple good points. Bernstein also made a couple good points. And honestly, I think it speaks to the fact that I think Bernstein made a couple good points, and the entire time Rosa was just dunking on him. And she could have done anything. Like his stuff could have been out of context, like misrepresented. I have no idea because I haven't read Bernstein's thing. So like if Rosa wasn't able to impress upon me how wrong Bernstein is, and I was able to about agree with them just about the same, but mostly disagree with both of them, would be most of my reaction to this book would be disagreement. Um, if she wasn't able to do that, I feel like this did not sway me at all. So
Yeah, I agree.
I maintain being a lib.
Live forever.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So
Yeah. So overall, out of 10 on the book, thoughts on the book?
out of 10.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I didn't even rate it on Goodreads. I did no rating because I didn't.
Okay. Well, like, what would you say out of 10?
Probably like a 2.
Mm.
Like a 2 out of 5. That's what that is.
Oh, 2 out of 5. Okay.
That's
I
just
would say out of 5. Am I allowed to do like 0.5, or does it
Yeah.
have to be like a whole number? Okay.
You can do points.
Out of 5, I'll give it a like probably 1 point. Wait, you said 2? Yeah. Yeah, I'll probably give it a 1.5 out of 5.
Nice.
Just because it was short and memorable.
True.
Although still difficult, I'm glad it wasn't 1,000 pages, because if I had read this and it was 1,000 pages, I would have wanted my money back.
Same. I'd be so disappointed at the end if that was 1,000 pages long, but it wasn't. So
yes. Yeah. Well, I think we're gonna probably wrap it up here, just in the interest of time. And in the comments, let us know, guys, is Sarah Kami? And also, what did you guys think of the series? Was it good? Was it like, should we do another one, basically? Because we're considering choosing another book. And it's not going to be as long. It's not going to be as many parts. We're probably going to be like 2 or 3 parts. And then like a final review. So, I mean, yeah, did you guys enjoy it? Did you find it, like, I guess, entertaining to watch or informative to watch? Or should we just stick to what we've been doing before this? Yeah, because I'm curious to know. Other than that, make sure to like if you liked it, or dislike it if you disliked it, and subscribe if you want more content. Check out our website, check out Sarah's page, check out my page, check out our Discord, check out our Instagram. I think that's everything.
Yes. Awesome.
Any suggestions for future books are welcome. Yeah, leave them in the comments, or message us, or email us, or DM us, or Discord message us, or literally anything.
Come to our house.
Oh, okay.
Our door. And tell us.
Please don't come to my house.
Come to my
I
house.
won't speak for Sarah.
And just tell me in person.
Okay.
There we go.
All right.
Nico's address is down below to go to his house.
Yes, my address, zip code, IP, bank account information, all just down there. So please don't do anything bad with it. I would hate. I'm gonna trust you guys.
Okay.
All right. Thank you, guys. Thank you for watching the series. If you made it through all of it, why don't you go touch some grass? Because, wow. All right.
Bye, guys.